Welcome back, guys. Will Robinson here from Robinson's Auto. Today we're going to pick up where we left off in part 2 with the AC repair series. If you haven't seen the previous 2 videos, I suggest you check them out. Part 1, I demonstrate how I go about finding a leak. Part 2, performing repair. And here in part 3, I'm going to demonstrate how I charge the system after the repair. Now there's a few different ways and methods and techniques of performing AC repair. I'm just simply showing you how I go about doing it. And that's what it's all about, right guys? Sharing our knowledge. So without further ado, let's do it to it. Okay, so now that we have the system all buttoned up, we want to take and pull the vacuum. So we're going to need our manifold set and the vacuum pump. I just changed the oil in my vacuum pump, so make sure you got fresh oil. I mean, you get away with it a few times, and make sure you have the proper amount of oil, because that fluid is what helps create a vacuum. And one thing you want to do is check all your lines. Okay. Now we're going to hook up our high and low side. Low side. High side. Turn it down. That's going to compress the Schrader valve. Now that's one thing I do recommend, and I don't have them right now, and I hope I don't kick myself in the butt with it. But I usually, when I go this in depth with the repair, I replace the Schrader valves. I looked at these ones, they don't appear like they were leaking. They're in good shape. So I'm gonna assume they're okay. And that's a bad thing sometimes. So we got everything tight, got the gauges closed. I'm gonna take and fire up my vacuum pump. Now the only side that's going to read negative pressure is the low side, but we're going to be pulling vacuum on both sides. I want to make sure I got a good connection, so I want to see this gauge move to the negative. And you can hear a difference in the vacuum pump. I'm going to do the same thing with the high side and listen for the difference. Okay, so I know I'm breaking into that system right now. Both sides are hooked up good. So we're going to open up our gauges. High and low. And we're going to let that pull the vacuum. As you can see, it's already down to about 20 inches of mercury, heading down towards 30. She'll get right to about 28 and hang in there. And you're going to want to pull this vacuum for a good hour, maybe 2 hours, as long as you got that you can pull a vacuum on this. And this is going to boil off all that moisture out of your system. And this is a very crucial step. Okay, so it's been about an hour now since we put vacuum on the system. So what I'm going to do is isolate both the high and low side. And kill the vacuum pump. I want to pull vacuum a little bit longer on this system because it's so large. However, I don't want to waste too much time in case we still have a leak. So I'm going to let this sit. So since it's so late right now, and we got this isolated, we got to pull down into a vacuum. It's down right around 30. Everything's tight. And my gauge set historically has been relatively tight. So I'm going to leave this gauge set hooked up, just like you see it, overnight. And I'm going to come back and see if I'm still retaining vacuum in the system right around 30. Now before I go home, it's going to take me like 10-15 minutes to close up. And this whole time I'll be monitoring in this gauge just to see if I'm losing any vacuum. So now we're going to pick up where we left off last night. We pulled vacuum. We let it sit. It's been on vacuum for about 12 hours with the vacuum pump off and everything isolated. And as you can see, it held vacuum. So now I'm going to put it on vacuum for a little bit longer. Just as an extra peace of mind, I could actually start charging it at this point. But I know how vast this system is, and I know how much I had open. I'd feel safer just pulling it for a little bit longer. I'm firing up the vacuum pump, and I'm going to open the system back up. high side and low side. I got a couple small jobs I'm going to do, and I'm going to leave this on vacuum the whole time. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes, so I'm going to take and isolate my gauges. So low side, high side. And now we're going to prepare to charge the system. So now we're going to go to the vehicle data, and you look here, R134A, and if it was just front AC, it would take 40 ounces, which is 1.13 kilograms. But since this one has rear AC, it takes 60 ounces, 1.7 kilograms, which is 3.75 pounds. The scale I'm using isn't an official freon scale, but it works. As long as you have a scale that goes into the ounces, the kilograms. I'm going to take and place my tank on the scale, which I'm reading kilograms right now. So I'm going to take and I'm going to zero it. So now the tank is zero. So as I take away weight, as the freon is going into the system, you'll see it going into the negative. So we're going to want to see that reach 3.12 ounces, 3.12.0, or 1.7 kilograms. I'm going to re-zero this. I'm going to re-tare it once I put my gauge on, because all this changes the dynamics of the tank, and this extra weight, you'll see, may not be much. As you can see, I'm reading 2.8 ounces simply because I hooked my hose up. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. So we're going to tare it. Okay. Now, I'm taking, make sure you're wearing safety glasses. These ones are probably safer than the ones, my pink ones that I was using. I'm going to take and turn my tank on. I open my tank all the way up to the stop. We're still zero, but I'm going to tare it one more time. I like tearing it throughout the process, don't ask me why. Now we're going to take and bleed just the supply hose. Now remember, these other two hoses, they're under vacuum, so we do not want to touch them hoses. There's no need to bleed these like we did when we were simply charging or adding freon, because right now this is all in a negative environment. So the only thing I'm introducing is this supply. I'm going to bleed it for a little bit. Just because I want to be certain. You're going to want a well ventilated area. So now, prior to starting it up, I like to put a little bit of positive pressure into the system. This part's a matter of preference. We could go ahead and start it up, put the max AC on, but I like to start charging the system before I start it up. You can hear it going in. It's actually the vacuum's drawing it in along with the pressure. Just a little positive pressure. I broke that vacuum state. I'm just going to bring it a little bit above zero. Okay, as you can see, I got about 10 pounds on the system, which we used 1.9 ounces. Now we're going to take and start the vehicle. We're going to put it on max AC. Front and back. In addition, I'm going to also place this in the heater duct. I'm going to put it in the center duct. About 95 degrees. Okay, we used 1.9 ounces already. As you know, we got to go to 3 pounds, 12 ounces. side. And you're going to want to keep an ear out for the AC compressor. I can't give you a shot in this one because it's really hard to get to. I like charging the systems nice and slow. Now you're seeing it go up to around 25, 30. But if I were to turn this gauge off, you'll see it drop. That's because I'm putting more positive pressure from my tank into the system. So far we used 4 ounces, so we're going in super slow. There you go, you just heard the AC compressor kick on. Now you see how this high side is automatically jumping up with that compressor kicking on? That's a sign of a good compressor. It's going to take a little time because I'm putting it in super slow as a gas. I don't like charging as a liquid because if you send a slug to that compressor, you can damage it. So as long as it's fluctuating like this, I'm going to keep the gas going in, the freon going in. I'm hoping to see and hear the AC compressor stay locked in here shortly. Getting longer. Each cycle is staying on a little bit longer than the last. We use 12 ounces. Okay, go back up to the gauge. It's starting to lock in. Okay, you can see it's starting to stabilize there. It's got enough freon in the system now to make that low pressure switch happy. So now we're actually taking and charging the system. I'm going to keep it going in at the same rate because I don't hear any extra load being put on that compressor, so it seems to be a happy amount going in. Back up a little bit. We're at 1 pound. I'm just going to isolate the gauge and see where the table's off at. We're about 30 pounds on the low side, right about 155 on the high. I'm putting it in at approximately 40 pounds on the low side right now. I might have to raise that up once we start approaching that. Still got the freon going in. Right up about 40 pounds on the low, about 190 on the high. We're at 1.6 pounds. Going in slow. I'm going to bring up my reference chart here. About 95 degrees in the shop, so we're going to see anywhere from 50 to 55 on the low side, 275 to 300 on the high. We're at 45 on the low. About 190 on the high. Just to kill a little time, if you remember, while we were looking at the PT Cruiser, I had about 30 pounds on the low side and about 40 on the high, maybe about 50 max. That should have been up around 150, I would say, where we were at yesterday. Open this up a little bit more. We're at 1 pound, 12 ounces. Still got a ways to go. Very large system. Took it from 95 inside the cab down to about 68. Now if I charged it from the high side as a liquid, it would go in much faster. However, I'm in no rush. This is the safest way on the system to charge it. We're getting about 65. Okay, we just broke the 2 pound mark. We know we need 3 pounds, 3.75 pounds, 3 pounds, 12 ounces. These numbers look really high on this gauge set right now. That's because better example if I would have did it outside for you guys. But with 95-degree ambient temperature, you'll be expecting to see around 55 to 75 in the ballpark, give or take. 2 pounds, 2 ounces so far. Pretty much going at full at this point, just taking what this bottle can give it on the low side and just slowly metering it. Now we could speed this process up by changing the idle and whatnot. It's all good. Okay, we're at 2.8 pounds, approaching 50 on the low, about 250 on the high. May have got a little bit noisier in here because I put my fan on, move some air across. Condenser. That's a good sign. You know our rear AC is working. It is a slow, tedious process when you're putting it in the low side like this on such a big system. Yeah. Now you can see how much freon I got left. Okay, we got 3 pounds in the system. 12 more ounces to go. About 52 on the low, and about 256 on the high. Starting to see our hose side tube really sweating right around the orifice tube. We also have condensate dripping out the front, evaporator. So we're getting really close. So we're approaching our limit for our service specs. We're about 54 on the low, about 260 so on the high side. So it's right where we expect it to be with the temperature in here. Now it was 95 when we checked it. It's probably up around 105 now with this thing running in here. I should have did this outside. However, I started, so I don't really want to stop and move everything. Okay, we're 3 pounds, 11 ounces in, getting close to our mark. We're at about 254 on the low and approaching 275 on the high. So that pressure charge is right on the mark. We were just strictly going by pressure. There you go. We just hit 3.12. So I'm isolating my tank. Isolating my gauges. Never open the high side, but I just want to double check. I'm going to take and move the vehicle outside since it's getting so hot in here. I'm going to isolate my tank. Tank's already isolated, just disconnecting it. Okay, it's amazing what ambient air temperature does. Just moving this outside for a couple minutes. We're about 248 on the high side and about 50 on the low. So it's probably about 85 degrees out here, I would guess. As you can see with the outer lower ambient temperature, right about 52 on the low. I'd say about 240 something on the high. Okay. So now our system's all good. We're going to take and disconnect our cables. So I'm taking back off on the strainer. Grab a rag because the high side gets really hot, so we're going to back off on the strainer. Now this side you're going to see a lot of pressure. You're going to hear the pressure. Okay, so we're good. Some of the spots where we disconnected it, like where we replaced the orifice tube, we know we're going to see a little green because some of that dye escaped when we pulled the orifice tube out. And I connections I know were clean. Just want to double check everything. You really see that new dye showing up. Dye just straight out of there. You can see that good. It's much more vivid. That's where it's sprayed out a little bit when I did it. So I'm going to get my sniffer. I'm going to sniff it out. Yeah, I'm going to go out here where I know the air is fresh. Set it. I'm going to do it once on low. I just want to make sure these Schrader valves aren't leaking. That's a good sign. Sometimes the freon is a little bit heavier than air, so you want to scope the bottom. The air is moving around so much with the fan on. It's hard to really tell. There you go. If it was leaking, guys, I wouldn't mind emitting defeat because I want it fixed before it leaves. Okay, I think everything we did up here is good. I'm going to get a set of caps to put on there. When is it shining in the puddle? Actually, I don't see any dye here. Now, a lot of times it will show up if it is leaking. I'm not seeing anything down here now, so I guess I'm going to have to lay down. Actually have a positive pressure blown out this tube as well because of the fan. Good. Okay, I'm going to go inside the vehicle now, check the vents. It's another way to check your evaporators. Showing good up there. Alright. So far so good. Just got back from a short test drive and it's freezing me out, guys. Right around 40 degrees in here. That's even after turning it down for a little bit and just turning it back up just to show you. But I think we got a fix here. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Hopefully it's a good one. All right, stay tuned.